What is up, you guys? It is the Karmic DF from TikTok. My name is Mindy. Today we're going to talk about why our New Year's resolutions almost always fail, but what we can actually do to achieve that. So if you are sick of being stuck in your old ways, you're ready for a change, there's certain things that you want to get rid of, maybe bad coping mechanisms, maybe unhealthy relationships, maybe a job that you hate, then stick around for this video so we can break down why we don't change every year, what we can do in order to make a solid plan moving this forward so that you can have the best 2023 of your life. Or if you see this video in the future, then whatever year you decide to take on your life and be your own creator. So if this is something that resonates with you, something you want to learn about, then hit like, click subscribe, and as always, let's get into it. So this could be in regards to a New Year's, or it can be in regards to just that moment that you realize that you want more out of life, that you are tired of the habits that you've created for yourself where you're just existing and you're not living, and you feel like life is more, there is more out there for you, but you don't really know how to do it. The one thing that we do that is the most problematic, even though we mean well, is that we all of a sudden just go, I need a strategy, I need a plan so that I can get through this, right? So a lot of the main one for New Year's especially, right, is I want to get fit. I want to lose weight, I want to exercise, go to the gym, but then you see that by the first month, everybody's given up on the gym, right? Because they don't really stick to what it is that they want to do. And the real question becomes, why can't we stick to these changes that we want to make to better our lives? And what it really boils down to is, how is your state of mind on your day to day? Because how you feel impacts how you're going to show up in the world. So if you wake up in the morning and you check your phone and you see something that angers you, or, it's the morning and you go out to get your coffee and then you bump into this other customer that's rude, and then that affects your mental state, right? And a lot of times, instead of just kind of like brushing it off, we carry that with us throughout the day. So if you're not in a state where you're feeling good, then you're more likely to slack on what it is that you want to achieve a healthier, better, more exciting life for yourself that resonates with who you want to be moving forward. So a big question that we need to ask ourselves is, how do we talk to ourselves? How do we perceive the world? How is our inner critic affecting our ability to live our best life? Do we wake up in the morning with an attitude of, it's just going to be another crappy day. I'm going to deal with more BS than I want to deal with. It's all about our mindset. If we are in an attitude or in a space of lack, if we're in a space of feeling like nothing's ever going to change, then you are giving yourself your own self-fulfilling prophecy. And a really great example of that is dating, right? Like, this can go for any gender, whoever you like, but an example that I see very often with my clients is people will be like, men are all the same. They'll never change. I always attract men that cheat on me. I always attract men that are emotionally unavailable. Well, you're putting that out into the world, and so the world is going to show you that your truth is true because you believe it to be true. So if you were to change your mindset into a more positive outlook, a more positive approach, where you're like, I have unfortunately dated a lot of people that have let me down, but I learned a lot of lessons about that, and moving forward I can use those to better choose a partner, or to learn about how I've been slacking on my own boundaries and my own self-respect. We need to change the way that we look at things and the way that we verbalize what we have been through. We have to stop looking at the past as a way of proving that the future can't get any better. Because when we start to look at it from that perspective, it's a lot harder to have the motivation to change, to start that gym membership and stick to it. If you're already in a headspace of, every year I decide to go to the gym and it never works out for me. Again, that is another self-fulfilling prophecy. It all starts with, where are we at mentally? Where are we at emotionally? And if we are in a place of not believing that things can work, then we will prove that to ourselves, because we are not going to have the energy or the hope or the just downright motivation to change our lives, because we have taken the accumulation of our past experiences and we've shifted it into our present experience. And while we do that, that's why we have no room for change. We don't believe it to be true. We want the end result, but it's really hard to keep going on that end result if we don't actually believe it to be true. So how do we change this, right? Because that's the main point. How do we actually start to make the change that we want to see in our life? And a really good kind of trick for this is to start looking at things in your past that you have negative association with and start reframing how you see it. So for example, I want you to think about an ex that really messed you up, right? Like it was a horrible relationship. It really messed with your heart, your head. Like after that, you were probably like, I don't ever want to date again, or, you know, screw all men, screw all women, whatever the case may be. I want you to challenge yourself and ask yourself, what did that teach me about myself? And what did that teach me about what I need to know moving forward? When we can change the perception of things that have happened to us that we perceive to be negative into something of neutrality, that's when we stop letting the chains of our past bring us back into a future cycle that is still the same as our past. With that inner rhetoric going on saying, all people are going to do this, or it never works out for me, we are not noticing why that pattern is happening. And the pattern is happening because we are not associating the good with the bad. I'm literally channeling the song, gotta take the good with the bad, happy and the sad. And now I'm seeing the yin yang symbol. Relationships, painful situations that we've been through, they are all meant to shape us and make us learn. So for instance, if you had an ex that, you know, was emotionally unavailable, right? And you gave and you gave and you gave and you couldn't fix them, right? And you're like, oh my God, I've wasted so much time on that person. Well, how do we reframe that and go, okay, what did I learn from this? Well, I learned that, if I'm being honest with myself, I knew a long time ago that this relationship wasn't going to work out. But because I loved them, I wanted to make it work out anyway. So now we're taking accountability for the part of us that kind of, you know, put ourselves in a bad situation. As well as, okay, this person was emotionally unavailable. They were incapable of receiving the love that I had to give. And that is not a reflection of me. That is a reflection of they were just not ready. And that has nothing to do with my worth and my ability to have a healthy, open relationship. And another way that we can look at this is going, okay, well, what triggered me that I can now learn is still something that's affecting me today that I can heal. So if you were chasing a relationship, for example, it might have a lot to do with the fact that you don't actually believe that you are worthy. And so what you're doing subconsciously is chasing that person to validate that you are in fact worthy. If you had parents that didn't recognize your achievements, then you are more likely to try and date someone subconsciously that reflects your parent, because there is a lesson that you need to teach yourself. And that is realizing that you are inherently worthy no matter what, that not all relationships are meant to work out, because you're going to, if you're a monogamous person, you're going to end up with one person in the end. That is the goal. And yet we put so much pressure on these relationships in a negative headspace of, I don't pick right, everything is my fault. We don't look at it from a balanced, logical perspective. We don't take ourselves out of the equation and see how we may have contributed to why these things don't last long or don't work out for us. And I know that relationships are very different from, you know, life change in terms of the gym, but it's all connected in terms of how we see things is how things are going to show up for us. If you want to go to the gym and start working on your habits, but at the same time you wake up in the morning and you're like, this isn't worth it, it's not going to make a difference, I never see a change, then you've already started in that mindset of, it's not going to work. And then how are you going to keep motivated to continue to work on changing if that is your attitude towards the change you want to create? Does that make sense? So if you want 2023 to be your year, or if you're seeing this in the future and you have just reached your max and you want a new life, then you need to start looking at how you talk about things and how you show up in the world. If your state is negative attitude, negative connotation towards certain things, then you're not going to stick with it, because your mind is going to get in the way of what your heart knows to be true and what you want. If you want to stop having toxic relationships, then you need to start talking about relationships as, what have I learned from this? What can I stop so that I don't attract these things anymore? The same thing with trying to stick to a healthy regimen. How do I look at working out? Do I have a negative connotation with that? I have to be in the right frame of mind in order for these things to start working for your best interest. If you wake up every morning and you're like, I hate working out, this is such a waste of time, you don't actually pump yourself up for it, you don't play some exciting music to get your blood flowing, then yeah, it's going to be feeling more like work than it feels like an opportunity to change your life for the better. It's all about mind state. It's all about how we perceive things. And if we look at things through the lens of negativity, then we will not consistently work through changing, consistently work towards the life that we want to live. How are you talking to yourself? What is that inner critic saying? And what can we do to reframe that so that we can show up in the way that we want to? Right now, we have a massive collective ascension where people are deciding to choose themselves, choose bettering their health, choose not settling for less. But if you don't believe it to be true, then you will fulfill that prophecy of it not coming true. Do you see how it's connected? Your thoughts create your reality. And if you believe that you can't, then you won't. But if you believe that you can and you want to, and you start with a positive mindset of fake it till you make it, if that's what you need, then you will start to see the difference. Because scientifically speaking, it takes 21 days to make something a habit. And if you can't keep a positive mindset for 21 days, then it's going to eventually go back to your normal, because we like normal. As humans, we inherently like what's comfortable for us. And usually, a lot of times, our comfort isn't comfortable at all. So what are you going to decide to choose? Do you want to be comfortable being uncomfortable? Or do you want to be uncomfortable in trying something new, in trying to change your frame of mind, in trying to see things from a brighter perspective so that you can get that adrenaline and that happiness, that serotonin and dopamine that you need in order to make your dreams come true, your goals come true, your wants in a relationship actually happen for you, where there is equal give and take. You have to take responsibility for your part in how you come up and how you show up for the things that you want out of life. And if we keep thinking that we're the victim, that nothing's going to get better, then we are going to see that come true, because that is what we believe. So if we change our mind, if we change how we believe things to be true, then we change how we can do things. Then we can actually stick to our plan, stick to our structure. How do you wake up in the morning? Do you wake up miserable? How do we change that? Can we put on exciting music? Can we start with some yoga? Can we start with shake and move in the body? Can we start with a brisk walk outside? Whatever it takes to snap your mind into a better place, that is how you break the cycle. Remember, you are going to be uncomfortable no matter what, right? You clicked on this because you're uncomfortable with the monotony of your life. And I get it. I've been there too. And I'm still working through it, because it is a constant process. We are always growing and learning. But if you're tired of being comfortable, being uncomfortable, you're going to be uncomfortable regardless of the outcome. So why not make it a good outcome for you? And that starts with your mentality, how you see things, and changing the voice in your mind to say, enough is enough. I believe that I'm going to accomplish this. I believe in myself. I believe in my power. I know that I'm worthy. I know what I want, and I'm going to go after it no matter what anybody has to say, no matter what my inner critic has to say. And you keep the consistency with that and watch your life change for the better. If you don't change your frame of mind, then you will not see a permanent difference in whatever it is that you want to change to improve your overall life. So I hope this was helpful. If you need a part 2, let me know down in the comments. And I love you guys so much, and I will see you next time.